Hi, I'm Catherine and the universe, and I'm here to talk about enjoying solitude. This is something I think a lot of people haven't learned and taken the time to really master. There's something really beautiful about being on your own and being alone but not feeling any loneliness. And if you haven't taken the time to sit with yourself and enjoy the really wonderful parts of yourself and love yourself, it's probably hard for you right now. And so I just wanted to come on and share some things that have helped me learn to love solitude, to get my power from within, to get my strength from within, and some things that'll help you right now if you haven't taken the time or had the opportunity to really enjoy solitude and some silence and peace right now. So for years, I thought I was a very social introvert. I'm actually an extrovert. I just need a lot of space. I do a lot of my best work on my own or when I've had time and energy to recharge and to put my own independent point of view into things. And I think that if you're always surrounded by people and different energy and a mishmash of varying situations that are probably not your own, but you're taking them on because you're just so go, go, go with being around people constantly. I think that that's going to add a little bit of a level of chaos to your life. So, some things I do to recenter and regroup and enjoy that solitude. And one thing I practice and I do almost every day, I try every day, is meditation. You don't need a whole lot. Everyone thinks that you need an hour or 30 minutes or 20 minutes. If you're starting, I think it's better to get 5 or 10 minutes of really good, solid, clearing kind of meditation. And that's, I think, frankly, more effective to do 5 minutes once or twice a day than to, it's kind of like working out. It's better to do like 5 or 10 minutes of meditation every day than to do 15 minutes of kind of half-assed meditation once a week. So, I mean, there's no harm in starting small. I wanted to share some ways to start meditating if you've never done it before. Because the idea of sitting and letting thoughts pass through your head and not dwelling on them is hard if you haven't done it before. One thing I would say if you're brand new and it scares you, there's tons of wonderful guided meditations on YouTube, on Spotify. That can be a good starting point. If you feel like that's just not resonating with you, I think some binaural beats or some singing bowl tracks can help, but if that's not your style, no worries. I prefer if I'm really trying to clear my mind and come into things with a fresh mental energy and kind of heart space too, frankly, for me. I like to just sit in silence in a dark room and watch a candle flickering from across the room. I love that as a beginner meditation trick because, to sit in silence in the dark with nothing, you have to be at a certain level to do that and have it be as effective. And that's okay to know you're not there yet. So having a candle across the room that you just kind of light and watch flicker. And as you think of things like, Bobby is, my kid Bobby is like all over the place and he's not doing well with virtual school right now. Let that pass through your head. Don't fixate on it. It's an interesting thought, but let it come and go, flow in and out of you. And if you're thinking things like, oh man, I've been laid off. I really want to order to go or take out after I'm kind of hungry, but I don't know if I really have the money. Let that flow through your head. You're not getting fixated on the thoughts. A lot of people think meditation is to think about the same thing for 5 minutes. It's kind of the opposite. It's to let go of thinking and this constant, we have to be focused at every moment. It's just to let go. And I think it's kind of the equivalent of putting in the charger cable and charging your cell phone, energizing it again, clearing some of the muck out. it's basically that's what you're doing with your mind. And I would say if you had the time to watch a long series on Netflix that was more than a few hours, maybe give 5 minutes of meditation a try every day for a week. See what happens. A lot of people are always on the idea of, oh, I don't have time for it. You're actually gonna have more time because your mind is gonna be more fresh and energized. You're gonna make better use of the time you have. So I highly recommend meditation. Again, having a candle across the room from you so you can have something to visually focus on while those thoughts flow into your mind and flow out. It's helpful to me, and it's helpful if you're starting especially. So meditation is one thing to do during this time. I think that a lot of things people are struggling with are new perspectives that they haven't really become comfortable with, and a lot of paradigms falling apart that I think we're long overdue to fall apart. But anyways, you'll notice a lot of people in the spiritual community are, I would say they're prepared for what's happening, but we're not panicking. We realize that this too shall pass. So in this time, in addition to meditation, I think this is a great time to learn something new or try something new. I think there's a very happy medium between sitting and numbing your feelings of solitude over a bottle of wine, some weed, binge watching TV. That I don't think you're really going to get in touch with why solitude and being alone is so uncomfortable for you. I mean, I feel like there's some great snacks out there. I personally like an herbal refreshment from time to time, don't get me wrong. But is that the bulk of what I'm doing right now? No. So I think it's, there's a balance between that and these people that are like, well, Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague. Those are pretty ridiculous ends of the continuum. So I think to give yourself that permission to be in the gray area is healthy. Udemy has tons of great courses on a really great sale right now. I'm looking at getting certified in some things, and they're 90% off, which is awesome. No endorsement, no sponsorship, just something I saw that I'm personally doing that I'm excited about. I have about 4 books that I have for reference. I don't buy a lot of books, but the ones I do are usually reference materials for some of the work I do. And so I'm like, oh, I get to go and really take the time to sit with them and read. I do a lot of art, so I've done more art in this time than I have in a long time, which has been wonderful. But I think even if you're not an artist, to print out some like coloring for grown-up books and just doodle with that and color can be extremely therapeutic and help you breathe and relax and just enjoy the moment. If you have a pet, you probably hear my pug snoring. I think just to sit with your pet, I think everybody's pets, like the dogs out there, are loving this because, we're home. I'm in the United States, and national and statewide stay-at-home orders, and I'm walking my dog like 2 or 3 times a day just because it's fun, and he's just so happy. Like, we might only go 10 minutes, we might go 30, but, just to wander around the neighborhood, he's loving it. So just seeing the joy on like a dog or pet's face with that, it's been nice. It's been really refreshing. I guess it's not really solitude, but I live alone, and I've lived alone for years, and I actually don't feel lonely right now at all. I think I actually weirdly feel more connected to people than I have in a long time. And I would say too, if you're physically alone right now, you don't have to socially be alone right now. You're physically distant from people, but I've had so many meaningful, deep, loving phone conversations over the last 2 weeks, probably more than what I've had in the last 6 months, with friends that live anywhere from 200 to 3,000 miles away, which has been wonderful to just catch up and say, like, what is new in your life? What's going on? I miss you. I love you. What's happening? And that's been really beautiful to me. We have these beautiful technological tools now during this pandemic that are, I think, a blessing. And I think that we should be grateful for that. And I think practicing gratitude is the last thing I'm going to say. If you're in a situation of solitude or being alone, and you are trying to not feel lonely, I think gratitude is a great way to do that. To say, "Wow, I'm really grateful. I have this wonderful friend I can call," or "I'm grateful I have this social media app I can go on and feel more connected to. I have this dating app." I think it's weird how dating apps are impacted by this. If you're single right now, like I don't even want to go on there because I have so many men that are really lonely right now and messaging me, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to enter into a connection with someone who is coming from such a sad, lonely place. But I think the thing is that's the majority, but it isn't all people. So, I mean, if that's your thing and what you prefer, that's something to connect with people. I am noticing a lot more people wanting to talk on the phone now, which I think is great because I feel like phone calls were a long lost art. They were getting to that point with millennials, which is scary. But I've had a lot of people in my life that are younger say, "Wow, I'm really comfortable talking on the phone now with you, and you've taught me that. This is great." And I'm like, "Yeah, can make a phone call." Now if you have to reschedule like a dentist appointment, you just pick up the phone. "Hi, I need to reschedule my appointment." "Okay, great. We'll do that day." "Yeah, thanks." It's so simple. I love it. So pretty soon we'll be writing letters again and sending greeting cards. I love to do that. Like, I'm an old lady at heart. So, just connecting in those ways and being grateful for that and that you have the opportunity to do that. Enjoy it. Be grateful. I'm grateful I have my dog here. But even if you live alone, you don't have any pets, I mean, if you're in an area where it's safe to do that, opening your window if the weather's nice and getting a breeze, taking the time to talk to neighbors. You're still, in most parts of the world, I understand you're able to physically go out and exercise. So even if you pace around your apartment's parking lot, just to do something active and you say hi to your neighbors. I've met more of my neighbors the last week or two than I have having lived in this apartment for like the past 5 or 6 months because they're just out, and that's been really nice. So you may be physically alone, but that doesn't mean you have to feel lonely. So try some of those things: meditation, being grateful, taking time to do something new and to learn, connecting in ways where you don't feel so distant even though you have to be physically distant right now. If you have a pet, keeping your furry friend company. If you have a pet in the neighborhood that the owner is comfortable with you petting their pet, hey, something else to feel connected, just being in nature. Enjoy the solitude. It is not your enemy. Be grateful for it, and you can really have some beautiful things come out of this time. I am Catherine in the universe. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you.